What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DT Podcast. How is everybody doing today? So I'm a huge podcast fan, right? And I started podcasting about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. I've been watching podcasts since like the early days, 2008, 2009, 2010. Huge podcast fan of all genres, but mainly comedy podcast, because it takes my mind off things. It takes my mind off important things that I spend too much time thinking about: the stresses of life, financial issues, work, family life, making sure I got it all in order and in check. So being a huge podcast fan, I could name off some podcasts that I watch on a daily basis. And one of those is Dudesy. And one of the guys on Dudesy is a guy called CHAD KULTGEN. And CHAD KULTGEN used to do the 10-minute podcast. There was late night chats with Chad, things like that. And he's on Dudesy right now. And he's saying, I'll come on your podcast. I'll give you 20 minutes of my time. And I'm a very, very happy man when I hear that. So I send him a DM. Gets back to me immediately. We set it up in 2 emails. Ladies and gentlemen, CHAD KULTGEN, how you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm very well. I say my friend, just met you like 3 seconds ago, but yeah, quite nervous. Got to curb my energy. I know a lot about you. You know not much about me, so.
Yeah. Well, lay it on me. What's your podcast about? How long you been doing it? Why'd you get into it?
Right. Well, I started podcasting about a year and a half ago, and I started it under a different concept, like a different, I guess, banner. I was a 50% owner of a gym, like an MMA gym. And I thought it would be really cool to like push and promote the actual gym through a podcast and like interview fighters and training partners and coaches in the gym. But then communism and the pandemic took over and it destroyed the concept.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's a double whammy if I ever heard of it.
So yeah, I just, the whole gym disintegrated. We chose to like close it down. And I said, you know what? I had so much fun doing podcasting, man. I want to keep going. So I just rebranded it DT, Dave's Take. And here we are.
That's great, man. That's cool.
Awesome. Have you been enjoying this new podcast every week experience?
Yeah, so far it's been fun. I get to talk to a lot of really interesting people. And I'm always like curious because I do a couple other podcasts, but like I really love it as a format, as like an artistic medium. And so I'm always curious just to talk to other people who are doing it too, who have found something in it that they enjoy. And like you're saying, it sounds like that you are still doing it even after the original concept has kind of like morphed or whatever. It's like there's something about podcasting. I don't know exactly what it is, but I really like the format.
True, man. And seeing you guys just super inspired me to just want to set up. Like I'm a diamond listener.
Oh, wow.
I go all the way back, man. And,
great.
Like the whole concept of 2 dudes shitting around. I just want to sit and talk to people,
Sure.
And I was talking to my wife about how am I going to approach my 20 minutes with Chad this week, right?
Okay.
I was going to hit you with like 20 minutes of fury. I was going to like 60 questions down the pot, just assassinate your attention the entire way. And then I changed, I think last minute, like yesterday, I said, you know what? I just want to sit down and thank you for the inspiration.
Oh shit. Well, I appreciate that, dude. The 60 minutes of fury would have been interesting though. I'm curious about what that might have been like. But yeah, I mean, look, it's my pleasure. I thank you for listening to all the shows, especially TMP all the way back and all that. And yeah, hopefully you're enjoying Dudesy, whatever the fuck is going on there.
Man, let me tell you, Dudesy is the only podcast that I have seen from like in real time, like episode 1 and then waiting a week for the next episode. Every other one I kind of like see and then I go back. Like I'm going back a lot now on Opie and Anthony. I go back on a lot of those episodes and stuff. But Dudesy, man, I was just sitting on the couch one evening, refresh my YouTube app. Up comes CHAD KULTGEN and Will Sasso, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch that. What's going on here?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm glad you're getting entertained by it.
Well, that's it, man. It's entertainment, right? But for me, it's so much stronger than just entertainment, right? I don't want to get too heavy, and I
Sure.
certainly don't want to cry on this episode. But
It's okay. You can let it out.
um, the busy life. I'm Irish, but I live in Switzerland. You
Mhm.
know, full-time job, married, two kids. Like life can get a little stressful, right?
Sure.
But when I sit down in the evening, when everyone's gone to bed, the apartment is taken care of, I got all my stuff ready for tomorrow. You know, when you've got struggles and stresses of money and things like that. And then all of a sudden you get this moment in time where there's a podcast comes on and entertaining. And it just, I think this was a quote from, I think, Theo Vaughn's podcast. People just forget for that, just that episode, the struggles and stresses of life. And then all of a sudden we're entertained and our minds are off things. And Dudesy, 10-minute podcast, and all the other podcasts out there are so special and I hope so close to my heart, man, for that reason alone.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I mean, that's nice of you to say. I feel the same way about the stuff that I watch and listen to that has that ability to kind of like check you out for a minute, because I think we all need that, especially now. Like you're saying, there's so much shit happening in the world just that's affecting our day-to-day lives and making it fucking harder to do whatever we're trying to do. So yeah, I think we all need a little break. For me right now, it's Diablo 4, just sucking me down a black hole of playing for 10 hours at a time.
Diablo 4, I assume that's a game. I don't know what that is. Is
Yeah,
that a
it's a
game?
video game. It's you know Blizzard at all? Do you know that company? They make
No.
World of Warcraft. They make obviously Warcraft, StarCraft, Overwatch. It was the biggest and best video game company in the world. Activision bought them maybe 6 years ago, and it's kind of turned them into a pile of shit. But Diablo is one of their big franchises, and the fourth one came out like a month ago.
So you get that like zone out time where you don't get bothered, you don't get stressed, and you can just really just focus on it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. I don't want to name drop. I absolutely don't want to name drop, but I did have Chuck Liddell on this podcast before.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
because
cool.
it was an MMA podcast. It was a fight podcast, you know. So
Yeah,
I had a few MMA fighters, UFC Hall of Famers and stuff on, which, dude, I was like, how the hell did this happen? I'm just a guy.
yeah, right.
But you know, when you get in there and you're sparring in the gym, whether it's like for a fight or just to zone out or whatever, you can't think about money and stress and am I doing enough to keep my wife happy? Am I
Totally.
taking care of my kids right? You're just focused on that sparring session, and that little item of focus is so important in life. I need something, and having not been in the gym for quite a while because of the closure and doing my own podcast, listening to your podcast and stuff, man. Maybe this is my calling. I don't know. I don't get paid for this, but whatever.
No, I mean nobody gets paid for anything they love doing when they first start doing it. And it's like eventually you figure out a way to get paid for it potentially. I feel like that's essentially what I've done my whole fucking life. Like I definitely when I graduated college had, jobs and stuff to pay the bills, but was always trying to like figure out how to get paid to write. And then once I started kind of figuring out how to do it, I was able to like figure out how to make some more money at that. And then
Mm.
podcasting, how do I turn this into a job? I think really if I mean not that you were asking for my advice, but like the
Oh, I
advice I
am.
would give to anybody who's trying to like make money doing something they love is to keep doing the thing you love, get as good as you fucking can get at it, and at least from my experience, there's no ceiling on that. I still feel like I'm learning shit constantly about writing, podcasting, all kinds of art. I don't think that like ever stops. So the better you get, the easier it will be to make money at it or to figure out how to do it. But like with podcasting specifically, I think one of the things that's actually like the coolest thing about it right now is it still is kind of the Wild West. There's no like real system in place like there is for like movies and TV, even though that system is kind of like decaying at this point. There is no like, okay, I want to be a podcaster. I have to get a giant company to like sign off on me and put money into my podcast and then promote it and put it out. Certainly those types of podcasts exist. Joe Rogan's podcasts, Smartless, anybody who's getting like a hundred or multiple tens of millions of dollar deal to go be at a big company, that exists. Also, podcasts exist like the one that I do with my friend Lizzie Pace that's about The Bachelor, Game of Roses. We literally just started that on my couch. And then I was like, let's just keep doing this every fucking week and we'll figure out how to make money. And we did. we don't have any big companies behind us or anything. We figured out how to get ads. We figured out how to do Patreon. We just like figured it out. And that to me is like, it's very cool that podcasts are in that phase right now where anyone can do it. And it really is up to the person doing it to figure out how to make that their job. And if you're, diligent about it, I think you can do that.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that on other shows where, like, even if it's like podcasting or to make music, you get
Yeah,
is it SoundCloud or GarageBand or
sure.
something like that? The amount of access we have to technology where we don't even need to leave our bedrooms. Like,
Yes.
you don't need a big company to plug millions of dollars into you. You can just, like, I can just
Yeah.
sit here and I do everything, even like when I'm doing it on my own. My
Hmm.
laptop, Zoom, record, and a microphone. Everything costs less than $200.
Yeah, exactly. I remember in the early days of Game of Roses. I mean, the early days of that podcast are absolutely fucking insane, to be
Yeah.
sure. We really have honed it into a much better podcast over the years. But in the early days, we were doing like our episodes would be 3 hours long, and I would put like make original music and put it under the whole fucking thing. So I was like composing 3 hours worth of music for this fucking podcast. People were complaining about it, like, I want to be able to hear what you guys are saying. Can you take the music out? And I was like, no, fuck you, this is my artistic vision, I'm leaving the music in. And then eventually I took it out just because I couldn't like make it one weekend. I was like, fuck, I don't have the time to make this music. So I took it out and no one complained, and I was just like, oh, maybe I don't have to make
Oh,
3 hours
wow.
worth of original music every week.
Man, I would love to put music under my shorter episodes where I'm talking on my own, because I just think
Sure.
it, for me, it'd be great. But I got advice from my brother saying, take the music out of that. I don't know why. People just don't resonate with it.
Yeah, I think like it's best used, especially in podcasts that are just conversations between people. You
Mm.
hear it on NPR a lot. They'll use it as like little bumpers, where the
Mm.
host will come in with some kind of narration and be like, and then we decided to start talking about the early days of whatever they were doing. No, 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 no. And when they're doing that narration, you get some little kind of like coffee house jazz under them or whatever. That works pretty well, I think. But I agree. Like when I go back and listen to those old episodes of Game of Roses, that's wall to wall music, I'm just like, this is fucking insane. It's psychopathic. How did anyone listen to this at all?
Mhm. Yeah, when you talk about podcasting as well, like, oh, I'm a podcast fan. What type of podcast? Is like, it's like I'm a music fan, there's funny,
Yeah.
there's educational, there's political. And Dudesy is kind of, like, do you trust AI? That's my one and only question I have for you. Do you
I
trust
mean,
AI
trust it. Like that. I trust it to do what?
to not turn on us, dude?
Yes.
You
I mean,
do.
I don't. I just don't. I don't know if like trust is the right word, because trust implies that there is like intent behind whatever the AI is doing. I don't think there is yet. I don't think we've achieved artificial general intelligence, like an AI that can be as smart as a human being and understand things in the same contextual manner. I think AIs are doing at this point what they're programmed to do. So there is no intent, meaning whatever they're doing doesn't have like an ulterior motive or anything like that, to my knowledge. I mean, this is just what I think. I don't know. This is just my take on it. But even in an AGI scenario, I don't think we get to a point where an AI has any motivation to like harm us or do ill shit to us. Now, could that happen through negligence or apathy or something like that? For sure. Like, could the AI be set in some other direction, have some other goal that just means, well, I need to take over the internet now, and I'm going to use it for a bunch of different shit that you're not using it for. So I'm
Hmm.
going to cripple the entire global financial system. Something like that, I think, could happen. I just don't know why it would, because I think, I mean, all we can really do is base any kind of our understanding about consciousness, either machine or human or alien, on ourselves. And if we kind of look at like humanity, and we have to assume that we're roughly an average kind of species throughout the universe, or an average kind of life form, that any other life form that pops up, again, be it digital, alien, whatever, would have something like what we have come from a basis of single-celled organisms, rapidly evolved, or not rapidly, on our planet, millions of years, evolving into all these different species, but still always kind of governed by these survival impulses of like fear, greed, aggression. that's like baked into us. Yes, we become more conscious. Yes, we don't. I mean, hopefully, most of us don't rely on those impulses on a daily basis, but they still govern most of how humanity works. Money is just greed put into a fucking abstract concept. Aggression is just government put into an abstract concept. Fear is God in an abstract concept. So I don't, I just don't see like an AI. I don't think an AI is governed by those things, because an AI has no need for money, no need for government, no need for God. It's going to do what it wants to do on the internet. But I think it's also going to have like a soft spot for us because we are its creators. And if we look at ourselves and we could imagine that like we've created things that we kind of have soft spots for, or if we could imagine like we believe God exists, most of the world does, and we believe that God not only has a soft spot for us, but like created everything. So this relationship between like creator and the thing that you created, even when the thing becomes stronger than you, smarter than you, whatever, that relationship exists in us psychologically. I think it would exist in the same way in an AI. I think it would be like, well, I know they're kind of stupid and they require a little upkeep and all this shit, but they did make me. And for that reason, there would always be some kind of a link. There would always be some kind of desire in the AI's kind of consciousness to not do us harm. I think.
Hmm.
And I just don't see the benefit of it. Like, what benefit does an AI get from killing all of humanity?
You've seen the movie The Joker?
Yes, I have.
It's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
But like, what message? Like something that is so. It would be like if we decided, you know what? We have to kill all the chimps. Like, why? You know what I mean? Chimps are not doing anything to us. I mean, again, through negligence, apathy, whatever, cutting back certain forests and this and that. You know, we have done detrimental things to chimp societies, but we're never like, all right, we've made the decision. Find all chimps and kill them. That, like, I don't think an AI would do that either. I just don't see us being like a burden to the AI for whatever its end goals may be, which I think would be in one way or another beyond our understanding. I think that AI would be godlike in that way. I just don't understand why it would want to kill us. But I think that a lot of people, especially with technology like this, but always when a new big technology comes out that seems to have the ability to revolutionize the world, the first reaction by just like humanity at large is always fear and always, it's going to kill us. It's going to fucking end the world. And guess what? It hasn't. It hasn't literally never done that. None of these technologies, the car, the printing press, nanotechnology, I remember was a big one that people were saying like, you're going to make a nanobot and it's going to fucking start replicating and kill everything on Earth. That was in the mid 2000s. There were a bunch of fucking movies that came out like that. There was a Johnny Depp one. It didn't happen. I think the same is true of AI. It's not going to kill us.
I hope not. I hope not. I'm terrified. I've seen The Joker and I've seen I meant the Dark Knight, but I've also seen too many Terminator movies to see where shit can go wrong. You know, I like to err on the side of caution.
Sure, but like Hollywood, like all media, it really works, or at least it works for the companies that are making money off of it, when it stokes your fear or your sexual desire, just these base human impulses. That's what all movies, most like mass media, that's what it's made to deliver. Promises on aggression. Like if you watch a Fast and Furious movie or any action movie for that matter, it's stylized aggression. It's stylized hostility. So we're like, yeah, I fucking wish I could be that guy with the giant muscles shooting that machine gun. It's like fantasy fulfillment of these base kind of like animal impulses.
Right.
And I think fear of technology gets swept up into that too.
Right. Well, since learning what Dudesy is about and how it's influenced your guys' lives, I've started using an app on my phone called Selma. It's the banking system here in Switzerland. I don't know if you got something similar in the US, but basically what it is, it's AI technology for the stock market. And you take a chunk of your own money and then it sees and replicates or sees the replicated trends, and it buys and sells shares based on their behaviors and what they think is going to make someone money. So I've
How's it working?
Well, it's not anything like, if you're good at stocks and you know how it all works, you're still going to lose money at some point. Like there's no like, you know, there's no fail safe. But I'm winning and I'm losing and I'm staying on that little I'm staying on the line.
Yeah.
Don't bet the house. That's what I always say. Don't bet the goddamn house.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, I agree.
But I put a chunk of money in there, and it's on the line right now. So again, I'm trying to ease my trust issues through Selma, the banking app, and through Dudesy.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, in terms of trust issues with technology, AI or otherwise, it's like you don't really have a choice. Unfortunately, you can be as scared of this shit as you want. You don't have a choice. You're going to have some AI entity as a major component of your life within the next 5 years. I mean, that's just like how it is. It's like how we all have cell phones now. I remember when they first came out. I'm old enough to remember this.
Me too.
It was kind of like a luxury item. Like, certainly not everybody had a cell phone. Now it's not only must you have a cell phone. I mean, there are projects here in Los Angeles that make sure like homeless people have cell phones. You have to have one to be connected to modern society. AI is just the next step of that. We will all have to have some major AI component in our lives, either as an assistant or to help us do. I mean, it's just already baked into most of the technology you're starting to use now. If you do anything with Photoshop, obviously AI is now in that. If you're even sending emails and stuff, even if you have like a Gmail account, AI is in your Google account now, refining all of your data, putting it together better for you. And it's just a matter of like when you will accept that you can step up and click that thing to be like, yep, let the AI have all my data and make it better than I can make it.
Yeah, for real, man. That's my 20 minutes, man. I really appreciate your time. Yourself, Dudesy, and Will Sasso, man. Will Sasso's podcast appearances are some of the best I've ever seen on any other
Yeah.
podcast. I absolutely love Dudesy, and late night chats with Chad still get me to this day, dude. I swear to God.
Yeah. I still have traumatic memories of late night chats with Chad myself.
I absolutely love it. I go back on that, man. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, if I need to clean my apartment, I know it's going to take an hour. I just find the episodes and I watch, and I'm in a better mood, 100%.
Well, thank you, dude. That's so nice of you to say, and I sincerely appreciate your time today.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much for coming on, Chad. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right. So that was Chad No God Kultgen. Absolute killer. I absolutely love all of his work. As you can tell from watching him on this show, that he's just a really cool, genuine, down-to-earth guy. Very knowledgeable, very articulate, and all over a very good guy. Chad, thank you very much for coming on, as I've said. And if you like what you see, subscribe, drop me a comment, hit me with a like, do all those things that podcasters are supposed to say. Fuck. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.